You mentioned being on the same team as Shaun White this year. The last couple of years he's come out with Shaun White video games. Have you kept track over your lifetime of all the different snowboarding video games that have been out there over the years?
You know, when I was younger, we grew up with a Nintendo, and so I used to play like Excite Bike and all that kinds of stuff, Battletoads and some Mario. But you know, once I started to get older, I wasn't huge into the video games, but I do remember like Cool Boarders and Thrasher's Skate and Destroy. We used to play Tony Hawk Pro Skater. But you know, just the more I got older, the less I was into it, and I've honestly never played a Shaun White video game. But I mean, you know, that's something that keeps kids into the sport. You know, I mean, that's great. You know, the fact that snowboarding has video games, it's great. You know, it keeps kids into the sport, and when they can't go outside and shred, they can do it on their video game. And as much as I'd like kids to just get out there and snowboard instead, it's fun for them, you know, so it's cool.
Have you seen a correlation, like within, for instance, with Tony Hawk and what he did with making skateboarding mainstream with Cool Boarders and kind of propelling you guys' names out there to the mass market?
Yeah, it's great, right? You know, you got, you know, Tony Hawk used a bunch of different pro skaters in his video game. Unfortunately, Shaun's the only pro snowboarder in his game. But
Cool Boarders had a bunch, though.
Yeah, Cool Boarders had a bunch. I remember Peter Line was in. I remember playing an MTV game one time that was snowboarding, and Peter Line was in it, and I think JP Walker, and you know, a couple of those guys. And it's cool because it just builds the names of these professional snowboarders who are athletes, I guess. You know, and it only makes sense, you know, to promote us and kind of put us in those games. You know, it's cool.
Talk a little about tech. What's your technology you can't live without, and why?
Oh, well, unfortunately I can't live without my phone. I do a lot of work from my phone, and you know, I use Spotify and Pandora and all those things to find new music. So that's a big part of it. Finding new music is what, I mean, if I have new tunes for every contest, that would be ideal. You know, I love to have a new song that I'm into or a new album that I'm into. So that's a big part of it, is finding new music and listening to music. But emailing and all that stuff from my phone is, I'm somewhat attached to it, and I hate that. And I love to get rid of it for a couple days, you know. I love to, like, okay, I have no cell phone service and this is great. I'm going to be in the mountains for a few days and just not talk to anybody. But I use my computer quite a bit, you know, emailing and all that stuff. We use, you know, we do a lot of skits. We have a website called friendsvision.com, and that's where we do, like, put out a lot of our snowboarding edits, and we do skits all the time on funny stuff that we're doing while we're traveling. And so we film all the time. We use 5Ds, you know, we use the Panasonic cameras and GoPros, all kinds of stuff. So it's we live in a pretty tech world. I'm not exactly happy to say that I use a lot of tech stuff, but I do.
GoPros really allow people to kind of see through your eyes on a board.
Absolutely. Not only has GoPro, you know, taken that point of view perspective to a whole new level, but it's also just so transportable. I mean, I just throw it in my pocket, and if we go out at night or whatever and we're getting funny footage that way, or, you know, when I go to the Olympics, you know, we'll cruise around with GoPros, so it's rad.